All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about something huge. It's a hidden pattern, a kind of geometry of power that has been shaping human society for thousands of years. And once you see it, you'll start seeing it everywhere, from the ancient world all the way to the phone in your hand right now.
So to really get this, we have to go way, way back to what the source material calls our factory setting. This isn't about religion like we think of it today. It's not about believing in something. It was about direct experience. You know, that feeling of pure connection, where the person dancing and the dance itself are exactly the same thing.
In that state of being, where the line between you and the world around you is kind of blurry, that was normal. Nobody owned it, nobody could put a price on it, and nobody controlled it. This was a world before the first fences went up, both in the real world and in our minds.
And then everything changed. Agriculture happened. And this wasn't just a new way to get food. It fundamentally rewired us. Think about it. We went from a life of moving and sharing to a life of staying put and defending. The whole idea of wealth completely flipped. It wasn't about what you knew anymore. It was about what you had, stored in a barn.
And that surplus of grain, well, that's the real game changer. Because if you can store something, that means someone else can take it. And if it can be taken, it has to be protected. And right there, in that simple little problem, a brand new geometry of power is born. One that's defined, well, pretty much all of civilization since.
We call it the pyramid. And look, we're not just talking about the big pointy things in Egypt, right? This is an idea, a pattern of control that just sort of happens whenever you have stored value. You need guards to protect the surplus, you need a hierarchy to manage the guards, and then, and this is the genius part, you need powerful stories, myths, gods, ideologies, to explain why the whole system is fair and just.
And this is pretty much the blueprint every single time. You've got a ruler at the very top. Then you've got the people who translate what the ruler wants, the priests, the scribes. Below them, the muscle, the enforcers. Then the people who actually make everything. And at the very bottom, the base that holds it all up. This exact shape has just been copied and pasted through history. The names change, the costumes change, but the geometry, that stays the same.
Okay, so if this pyramid structure is so persistent, who actually keeps it running? The source material calls them the Switchmen. I love that term. They're the gatekeepers. They're the ones who control the flow of everything that matters. Resources, information, legitimacy. Kings rise and fall, but the Switchmen, they just change their uniforms and keep on working.
Let's just do a quick jog through history. You'll see exactly how these switchmen adopt their roles. From Rome, through the Middle Ages, into the Enlightenment, and right into the modern era, the job title changes, but the job itself, controlling the switches of power, never does.
Okay, take the Middle Ages. The Switchmen were super obvious. The priest, he was the gatekeeper to God. You had to go through him. The noble, he controlled the land you lived on and farmed. The scribe controlled who could read or write, and the banker, of course, controlled access to money. They weren't separate jobs. They were all just different functions of the same system, all working to keep the pyramid stable.
So then, what happened after the Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution? Did the switchmen just pack up and go home? Not a chance. They just rebranded. The priest who had authority over your soul was replaced by the psychiatrist who had authority over your mind. The noble who owned your labor was replaced by the capitalist who owned your time. The factory whistle took over from the church bell, telling you exactly what to do and when. Same job, different uniform.
Then, about 100 years ago, a brand new resource was basically invented out of thin air: human attention. With mass media, radio, movies, TV, suddenly one person could speak to millions at once. And controlling the story, controlling what people paid attention to, became the new ultimate source of power.
And that, of course, brings us to right now. The pyramid didn't go away. It just became invisible. It dematerialized. It's not made of stone or steel anymore. It's made of code. It's in the cloud. We're all living inside a kind of digital cathedral, and its walls are so sophisticated we don't even notice them most of the time.
So, if the pyramid is still here, who's guarding it now? Who are the modern switchmen? Well, they haven't disappeared. They've just gotten a lot harder to spot. They're not wearing crowns or fancy robes anymore. They're wearing a whole new kind of camouflage. Because here's the crazy part.
Today's switchmen aren't really people sitting in a dark room somewhere. They're functions. They're embedded in the technology we use every second of every day. The algorithm is the new priest, deciding which truths you get to see. The platform is the new landlord, owning the digital land where you spend your attention. The data broker literally controls your identity, and now AI models are starting to become the ultimate authority on meaning itself.
This says it all, really. In this new pyramid, total surveillance isn't a bug, it's a feature. Control is built right into the architecture, and if you have a dissenting opinion, it's not that you'll be silenced, you just might become algorithmically invisible. Now, I know this all sounds pretty intense, but it leads to the most important question of all. Is this it? Is the pyramid the only way we can organize ourselves? Is top-down hierarchy just our destiny? Or is there another shape, another geometry we could try instead?
The source points to an alternative that's literally all around us, right under our feet. Instead of the pyramid, think about a mycelial network. You know, the incredible fungal web that connects a whole forest. It runs on principles that are the exact opposite of the pyramid. It's a network, not a hierarchy. It's based on symbiosis, not competition. And what's so wild about this model is how it works. Intelligence is spread out everywhere. Resources actually flow to where they're needed most, to strengthen the weakest parts of the network. It thrives on connection. Now, this isn't some kind of magical utopia, but it is a radically different direction to think in.
Here's one more beautiful image for you, a school of fish. It moves as one perfect fluid organism. But there's no leader. There's no boss fish barking out orders. There's only resonance. Each fish is just responding to the fish next to it. And out of that simple connection, this incredible coordinated movement just emerges. And this really is what it all comes down to. The source suggests that maybe trying to attack the pyramid head-on is a trap, because when you do that, you usually just end up putting a new group of people at the top. The real revolution is to start playing a different kind of music, to build new things based on these other patterns. The tools are here. The choice is ours. The guitar is sitting right there in the corner. The only question is, what song are you going to play?